retro to next gen, we've got it all. I'm George, a Gen X grown-up, and this is Bit by Bit. Alright, over at GamesRadar.com, we're going to talk a little bit about this article that this DRM company called Denuvo says they're tired of gamers saying it's bad for games. I read this article and boy, this company is really going through it. They're going to have a hard time. So Denuvo is a company that creates DRM software for big game AAA companies and publishers. Tekken is one of the ones that's mentioned in the article a little bit later on. But I love how this CEO guy, Oman, is talking about how he's like, I'm a gamer myself, therefore I know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's never good when somebody's trying to sell you something you don't want to use or buy, and they tell you they're just like you, therefore they understand. He's talking about new studies that's saying that piracy can take about 20% of a game's revenue from the company. You know, maybe that's true, maybe it's not, who knows. All I know is that oftentimes I'm paying $50, $60, $70 for these AAA games when they come out, if it's something that I want to buy right when it comes out. And a lot of the times these games are not finished even when they get to me. They're, beta this and bugs that, and we're going to release a new version in a couple of months and everything. And I guess part of his point is if you want them to keep doing that and releasing updates and new DRM and all that kind of stuff, well, not DRM, DLC, sorry, then you need to be okay with this DRM software. Now, the one thing that they're talking about here is this Tekken 7, like I mentioned earlier. I guess when Tekken 7 came out, the DRM in it from this Denuvo company really affected the gaming performance on that game, so much so that even the technical producer went on Twitter and said, yeah, this thing is screwing up our game. So a lot of people are very upset about that, and I guess it's one of the ones that's cited the most when people complain about Denuvo's DRM stuff. They even have created a Discord channel for players to reach out and talk to them. Well, as you can imagine, this has gone about as well as you might expect. I don't think that this is going to help them anytime soon. I really think that they're going to have a lot of problems as they continue to move forward. It's mentioned here in the article that even EA has ditched this company's DRM and just basically said to the gamers, hey, we're going to trust you, that you're not going to steal and pirate this stuff because you love our games and you want us to keep making them. We'll see how it goes. All in all, I think I agree with this writer, Dustin Bailey, over there at GamesRadar.com, that this was a terrible idea. It feels very desperate. It feels like something that Denuvo is just grabbing at straws to try and keep a foothold in the industry that they're a part of. And quite frankly, maybe they don't need to. Looking for a place to chat with fellow Gen X grown-up fans? Join us on Discord. We're talking games, movies, and more. Come be a part of the community at GenXGrownUp.com/Discord. Okay, next up, if you are an iPhone or iPad user, I've got good news for you. Apparently, you can now play retro games really easily on your Apple devices. Over here at XDA-developers.com, they want to talk about a new emulator that's available. Now, I guess, according to this, it's just been a year since Apple made some kind of change in their Apple Store. I'm not an Apple guy, I'm an Android guy, so I don't really know. But I guess they made a change that allowed emulators to come into the system. So, like they're talking about here, you can use Gamma for Sony PlayStation. God, I cannot stand. It bothers me so much that a PlayStation is retro. I'm always 2600 and in television. Anyway, that's just an old guy get off my lawn rant. Sorry about that. Talk about Virtual Friend for Nintendo Virtual Boy is available. Retro Arch, which emulates a whole bunch of stuff. That's one I've used on other systems myself. But the one they're going to talk about here is called Delta, and it's by some guy named Riley Testut, and it supports a whole bunch of stuff, Nintendo 64, Game Boy Color, and everything. So I guess it's all Nintendo stuff. And I want to talk about some of the things that are very important that you can do right now with the Delta system. The first one is this AirPlay thing. So you can stream the game straight to a TV. I've seen people try to use AirPlay. Sometimes it seems successful, sometimes it's not, but they're touting it as a big deal here. I guess that's up to you. To me, the whole point of having it on your phone or your iPad is that you can take it with you. So I don't know where you'd be streaming it to, but maybe, at your home or something, this is how you want to play. Local multiplayer. Now this one's really cool. So you can hook up a couple of Bluetooth controllers to your iPhone or iPad, and then you and a buddy can sit on the couch and play Mario Kart, Streets of Rage, any of these things that were really good for multiplayer support back in the NES days. Here's another one. I don't think this one's a big deal. Using custom controller skins. That's like the on-screen app controls. Number one, I hate those on-screen app controls. They don't work real well for me, especially in a lot of the fighting games or action-oriented games. I just can't get them to recognize very often. But if you like those, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can make them look in this emulator. Okay, yeah. This one is really cool. So you can sync your games, save states, and a whole bunch of other stuff between your different Apple devices. Now, you're going to need a Google Drive or a Dropbox type of an account so that it can save all this data to, but it can do things like saving your game states, your save files, your skins, even your BIOS files across the different devices, which any of us who are in emulation know those BIOS files can be a pain in the butt when you go to load a game and you're like, oh crap, I need to go get the BIOS. Here, it can all be synced, so no matter what device you're using, once you've got it set up once, you've got it set up forever. The number one thing they say is awesome with Delta is that you can use cheat codes. If you're going to have an emulator for a home console system thing like the Nintendo or the Super Nintendo, you better have cheat code support. I don't know why this would make the top of the list, but I get that it being there is nice to have. The last part of the article is just basically talking about what I was already saying. Using a game controller is better and easier than using the on-screen controls in this particular app. I think it's that way across all screen, smartphone devices myself. But, I'll leave that up to you. Let me know in the comments. Do you prefer to use the on-screen controls, or do you prefer to use a Bluetooth controller hooked up to your system? Love GenXGrownUp? Now you can wear it. From tees to mugs, we've got everything you need to show off your fandom. Visit GenXGrownUp.com/merch to grab your exclusive gear today. And finally, up on the hit parade today, we're going to go over to GamingBible.com, who wants to give us a list of 10 legendary games that you can play for free on your Nintendo Switch. Now, you can only do this if you have this Nintendo Switch Online. I do not have it, even though I do have a Nintendo Switch. I went and looked it up. Turns out that is $20 per year per person. There's also a family plan. There's an add-on one which gives you a few bonus items, but it looks to me like you really only need the Nintendo Switch Online single-player account. So for $20 per year, not per month, you can play a lot of these cool games that they've got listed here. First one up right out the bat, Super Punch-Out. Awesome game. Loved the crap out of that. This would be a super fun game to play on my Nintendo Switch. This one alone might make me want to spend the $20. Super R-Type, yeah, that's really cool. Love that game. Kirby's Dream Land 3, I don't care too much about that. Earthbound, F-Zero, okay, F-Zero I could play. Donkey Kong Country, wow, that one would be a nice thing to play on the Switch. I really enjoy that game. Star Fox, a lot of fun. Super Metroid, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. Okay, I've never played the Zelda stuff. Maybe this would be something that would make it worth it. Super Mario World, okay. Pretty solid lineup, really, when you look at it. I mean, Zelda Switch, and they got a whole bunch of other stuff here that you can get with this too. 20 free must-play games. Look, Donkey Kong on the NES, we already talked about. Look at this, Pop and Tweeby on the SNES, Pokemon Snap, Breath of Fire. I mean, just tons and tons of games to play on your Switch. Ooh, GoldenEye from the N64. Okay. Yeah, that kind of makes it a no-brainer, right? $20 a year, get to play GoldenEye from the N64, one of the highest rated, most highly touted games of all time from that era. Yeah, I might be signing up for this Nintendo Online thing and spending $20 to start playing some of these on my Switch. That's going to do it for the news making headlines in the gaming world right now. I am George, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, and I'll keep on bringing you the news bit by bit.